So I'm going to make a poster, propaganda poster, as quickly as I can today, step by step by stealing things. I'm going to start with a letter size so that it's a nice, easy, printable poster. And here we go. All right. We got a letter size, regular piece of paper document. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get a topic for a propaganda poster, which is going to be just like generic. It's like believe, right? With old school Baltimore propaganda. What it meant, it was about the schools or whatever, but it was just about And I'm gonna open up a window here with defont.com. All right, defont.com is a great place to get all sorts of fun fonts that you can not download on a student computer, but you can steal, and I'll show you how. Borrow these fonts. Let's see. Let's find a good one for believe. I like looking for something bold and I don't want to spend too much time. Ooh, I like that Marons. I like this Astoria too. That'll probably have a cool B. All right. So what you're going to do is you're going to click on the font, and you can actually do it earlier than that. You're going to use your preview, and then make it as large as you can, and hit submit. And what that does is it gives you your letter. I don't love that B actually. So if you go back, sorry, taking longer than I wanted to. You can put your preview right in here. Make sure you spell it right. Within this method, you're not going to be able to go back and edit the text. Oh, I like that. That looks cool. Robusta. It reminds me of like a national parks thing or whatever. Make it large. Now, if you're at home on a home computer and you can download fonts, Defont is usually easy and free for the most part. Just hit submit and it gets a little bigger. You can make it even further bigger up here by zooming in on your screen. You don't want to go too high where it becomes super pixely, right? But even that should be okay. And you're just going to print the screen. Function shift on my laptop, print screen. Maybe you have a print screen key, and go back to Illustrator and paste Control V, and that puts in your whole. Look at me making this face. Z on my keyboard gets me to my magnifying glass so I can zoom out. And I'm going to select this image and go to crop. Bring my crop all the way down to just this word. Make it easy on myself. Apply. So now I've just got it. Now this is still just a picture of it. It's not a vector. But if I hit this handy dandy image trace button up top, boom, you'll see that if it was a really skinny font, a lot of times doing this, it does not have great results. But even here, we've got some things that have been rounded out maybe a little bit too much. You can open up your image trace palette out here. It looks like this, or you can just go, or window, you can go to window, image trace, there you go. It'll open it up. And you can mess with your threshold. You'll see it update. Or you can even further mess with, I like to take noise out and see what that does. Doesn't seem to be doing much. There we go. Got a little adjustment there. We got a little bit more pointy. I like it. To finish, you go back up here and hit expand. There are your vectors around everything. The weird thing about doing this though is it does make some like kind of hidden vectors or whatever, in that like you got white shapes out here, right? So I'm gonna not only click on this white shape, but in order to get all of the interior white shapes, I could just hit shift and select this, or I can select similar objects up here. This is a useful button. And we had just expanded this and we used the select similar objects to get all of the white shapes. If you want those for something, they might work well. For now, I'm gonna, well, let's just turn them a color so we can see them. Maybe then we'll use them. All right, there they are. They're all orange now. Okay, so we've already started to kind of establish a color scheme, and they're grouped together, which is kind of nice. All right. Something else fun, rather than trying to guess where this belongs, if I'm trying to center it on my poster, and it's already starting to look like a poster, just having that box on there. See how frames can do that? If I hit horizontal align center, just having this selected, this option comes up. And this is align to artboard, right? This being my artboard. I could just click this button and it puts it right in the middle. Now, if I clicked this button, it would put it in the middle of it vertically, and I don't want to do that. I want it to be at the top. Right. So now, other things I can do. Let's just build right off of this. One of the requirements for our in-class assignment was to use frames, right, and use a grid. Well, I'm going to put a rectangle in this, but before I do that, I'm going to hit Control R to turn on my rulers, right? And I can see my rulers are on inches, which is something I can understand. And I'm going to drag in some guidelines by clicking in the ruler and dragging down to a 1/2 inch in on the top, bottom, left, and right. Right, there's a 1/2 inch there. Coming in from the right side, it would be on the 8. See, I'm lining it up at the top there. Okay, so I've got one on the 8, I've got on the 1/2 inch in, and then I want one at 10.5. It's a good idea to establish a safe area where I don't want any text or anything to be cut off. I can also use that to size this thing and place borders. I'm holding shift while I'm doing this to keep my what's it called, proportions accurate, and I'll zoom in even to make sure it's right on there, because I don't think it's snapping right to my, yeah, you can see it's off a little bit. All right, that side, check this side. Looks good. Looks like it could go up. There we go. My arrow key for that. All right, so what else are we going to do? Let's take that orange color and our rectangle, and we'll make it, whoop, no, I got to deselect. I'm just going to make a rectangle. Okay, put my crosshairs right there. I'm going to further my rectangle down. We're going to do kind of like an upside down baseball card look. It filled it with orange. Okay, remember in Illustrator, we got a fill and a stroke. And this little guy here flip-flops them, okay, which is fun. Now I've got an orange stroke and no fill. I can click on that to bring it to the front if I wanted to change it. And over here is my stroke menu. I can bump up the width of my stroke. It adds it to the whole thing all the way around. And now I've got a lovely frame, right? We talked about that before. We also talked about using some sort of a pattern or something for our background. So let's put that in even before we have our icon, a recognizable image or something to go with this concept of believe. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make a triangle, right, with my pen tool, just by some straight clicks. And I'm going to make it go to the center-ish. I'm going to click on this one spot here, and again, use these aligns. Now it's right in the middle of the whole document. I hit vertical align center and horizontal align center, and it only moved this point because I used the direct selection tool, and I clicked on that vector point, that anchor point, sorry. Right? Now I'm going to flip-flop this back to a fill, and I'm going to change the color to be the same kind of color, so I don't add a color to my color scheme by just going up here, and I could choose different color options. Right there, here's my color, and these are shades and tints of the same color. I'm just going to do a light version of that same color, a tint of it, and I've copied and pasted, edit, paste in place this triangle to make 2 of them. See, there's 2 of them. Control Z, move it back. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to transform and reflect. Why did it move it? That's weird. Aha, that's what I wanted to do. Vertical is just moving it over a little bit because I guess it's not exactly straight. All right, I want to do the horizontal reflection. Okay. And then I'll click OK. And then again, just like I did on the other one, can you shut that door, please? It's very cold. All right, I'm recording a demo. I'm going to select with my direct selection tool just this one anchor point. And again, it should be already centered, but I'm going to bring the vertical line center down. Whoa! And it smashed it, man. Right? That doesn't matter because it's still the same thing. And I can shift and bring these down so they're just off screen. And there we go. Should be about the same triangle. I'm sure there's a different way to do that because there are 900 different ways to do everything. All right, so there's that one. We got to get these lined up in the middle. I just copied it and rotated it, made it a little bit bigger. I'm going to select both of these, copy, edit, paste in place, and then I'm going to right click, transform, reflect that way. Okay. And lastly, I'm going to copy these guys again, copy, Control C, edit, paste in place, and we'll go outside and rotate it again. Might have to move it over a little bit. Just use my arrow keys here to get it kind of precisely in the center. There we go. Visually, I like that background, right? So copying and pasting the same triangle. What I'm going to do now is again select similar objects. I got all of them. I'm going to group them. Control G. So now that if I select one of them, I select all of them. I'm going to right click, arrange. And now because they're off screen, all of these edges don't matter, and you can see my artboard really nicely, right? And I could bring in this poster is like ready for a second color. So I'm going to start thinking about that. And I'm also going to go to the internet now to steal a vector image, borrow a vector image. So I threw this grouped object into the back with a right click, arrange, send to back, and then put it behind everything else. And I also, in the last segment, in between, went to Google Images and just found this Adobe stock hand in the I love you pose. If you believe in life and love. Some of you may not know that song. When you paste an image in, you want to make sure it's on top. You can also arrange and bring to front. It'll be on top. And in order to get rid of this watermark and use this and turn this image into a vector, we are going to again use our image trace. But this time, when we open up our image trace menu, and I think I closed it before when I pulled it out, so I'm going to go to Window and Image Trace. It is in alphabetical order. I'm going to change it from black and white to color, and then I'm going to change my color from 30 to 3, because I only want white, this like shadow color, and this background color. And then I'm gonna, if this isn't twirled down, I'm gonna twirl this down under advanced, and I'm gonna take my noise all the way out. You should see it, yeah, it becomes a lot more clear, down to 1. I'm gonna up my paths and my corners maybe a little bit, or maybe drop my corners. I don't know, just adjust these a little bit, see if you can't get it a little better. Yeah, something like that. Looks pretty good. Maybe that's too high on the paths. I want it like smooth, but I want it there. All right. And then once you got it about as good as you can go and get it, you can hit expand and want to zoom in here and look for areas where your white, when you select it, with your direct selection tool. Because if you use your black one, you're going to select everything, right? We don't want that. Click off of it to deselect. Get your white and select this inside white. Notice there's no vector lines in between this tan and this brown, right? There's only vector lines going around the white area. Well, if I've selected the outside, I don't want to select the inside. I just want to get rid of the outside. So what I need to look for is gaps like this, like that, right? In my artwork that I can cut, because that's connecting this to this. So that when I click out here, it's also selecting in here. You see the gap there? There's also probably one in there. There's one here, and there's some on the other side. So the way we fix that is get this knife tool. If you don't see it, it's buried underneath the eraser. Click and hold down on it. And you're going to cut from inside the brown shape over here, clicking inside the brown shape, and you can see that vector it's dragging out. That just severed those two bad boys apart. Same thing, you could do it from tan shape to brown shape, just to make sure that that's a clean cut there. I'm using my mouse scroller to go down, so I don't have to switch tools, right? Or you can use your little arrows in the corners. Let's look over here, down there. This will connect it, so will this. Inside the brown shape, straight down, cut that off. Let's go ahead and cut this all the way across this brown shape. I'll show you why later. It cut it here, but it also, maybe it didn't. We're going to want to cut that brown shape later, or maybe not. I don't know. Here looks good. Just in case. Cut across there. Move this back out of the way. Bury it somewhere in there. Clean all the way around. Up, here's one. Little gap will get you. This looks good around the edge. Down through the thumb looks good. The way we test it is click off, test anything else or nothing. Then click your inside. Haha, that is a shape unto itself. Click your outside. It does not appear. Zoom and Alt key. Now our outside is selected by itself and we can delete it. Okay, now we've just got these little numbers down here, 1, 3, 5, 9, 0, 4, 2, 5, 8, 7, 6. They're all grouped together. So I'm going to move it off the board. Z, keyboard shortcut, man, Z. Just know that. And Alt zooms out. Get you your magnifying glass. In this case, I can just highlight all these bad boys. My white arrow. I'd probably clean that up later, but to save time. So I finished cutting off the background shape, and I changed these oranges into oranges that were in the family of this orange. So I can say I really only used two colors here. I used this orange and lighter and darker tints of that orange. And then I put a shape in the background here. It's just a solid shape. Bring to the front. There it is. Arrange. Right click. Arrange. Send to the back. And I used, you can see here's my original orange. I used a color family blue in the harmony of that's suggested up here in my color guide. And then I went a little darker to put that blue in the background here. And yeah, the only thing I might want to do is maybe bring this guy down, have it go off the poster. I like that a little better. Don't be afraid to make adjustments to your art after you get it kind of how you want it. Make that even bigger. But I like that it goes over that. I might take this little stroke line, arrange, and bring that to the front. That way it's kind of like cool that my stroke, like the hands behind the stroke, but in front of the believe, that kind of thing. So that's it for the little propaganda poster with stealing images and text from the font, borrowing. Good luck with that.